Standout classic middle of the album moment. You know, I don't know if you think of it this way. I think of vinyl, and I think that sits perfectly in the overall.
Finishing the first side.
Yeah, perfect, right?
Was
perfect.
always going to be that.
Yeah, had to be. Once again, you're sort of writing from this position of real emotional intelligence. You're offering a point of view for a protagonist, a female, a woman who's going through something, trying to give her the strength to move forward in life and not feel that sense of shame and guilt, which keeps everybody rooted in one place. You're no stranger to that POV. You know, where are you when that comes to you, or do you any closer to understanding why you're able to write so eloquently from the point of view, in particular from a female's point of view, under those kind of challenging circumstances? You seem to love these stories, or I don't know if love's the right word, but you write them beautifully.
Thank you. I feel like making an album is like so incredibly navel-gazing. Like it's so self-absorbed as a thing.
We don't talk about that,
right?
Because otherwise all music comes apart.
Right.
And we never talk about it again.
But I think like what is affecting you in a moment, what you feel like you want to be able to say to someone in a way that is strangely easier than calling them and being like, just so you know, I want to tell you this or something, is like, it's also kind of a nice reminder that like sometimes the thing that's more important to say is to someone else and not like, okay, I could spend this day when I'm feeling this thing and thinking about this thing. I can try and write another song that's like fun about like how I've like fancy someone and I think they're really great. Or I can be like, no, I'm thinking about this thing.
Were you thinking about someone in particular?
Yeah. And I had, you know, an experience with someone where in getting to know them better, they kind of like revealed some stuff to me that was very much like, oh, like that's not normal. And I think for a lot of people, obviously, what you know in your experience feels like it's everything that you know. So it's easy to kind of mistake it as being, I don't know, I guess in this specific case, like regular behavior. And I think being able to be like, that's not normal. And I think, you know, you should maybe get some help or something to kind of go into that a little more. Matilda, for example, is kind of like, I think Matilda's kind of relatively self-explanatory, so I mind doing it less because, you know, obviously I think it's important, like it means a certain thing to everyone, but I like that it was this personal story to me about someone else being able to say like, this thing is more important than me just making music about myself.
Yeah.
Because I think it could mean more to you and a lot more people.
A lot more people, yeah.
You know, another one of these songs could mean to me, but kind of disguised in, you know, Matilda from Roald Dahl book of like, okay, disguise it as imagine Matilda as like a grown-up. I mean, I played it to, you know, a couple of friends and stuff, and like all of them cried, and I was kind of like, okay, I think this is like something to pay attention to.
Have you played it to the person it's about?
I haven't.
Do they know that it's about
No.
them? Wow. Will you ever reveal it? Or will they know instinctively?
I think they'll probably know. It's hard with that because it's kind of like, it's a weird one because in that same sense, like the line of like, it's none of my business, but it's just been on my mind. It's kind of like, we talked about this like last time we sat down, and you have a couple of people in your life who you've lost to like suicide and stuff, and it's hard. It's always hard to not go like, I wish I'd reached out to them and I wish I'd done this, and it's really difficult not to do that even if you're not that close to them. You know, with something like this, it's kind of like, you know, I want to give you something about, like, I want to support you in some way, but it's not necessarily my place to make it about me because it's not my experience. And sometimes it's just about listening. I hope that's what it did in, like, if nothing else, that it just says, like, I was listening to you.
There was a moment on first Friday Coachella when you played Boyfriends, and I can think of maybe